our listenership in general is growing, and our follower list is growing. We're up to over 500 followers now officially, so that's really great, and we're excited about that and all the great things that are coming on the horizon. This show should soon be released on iTunes and iHeartRadio as well, so you'll be able to listen there. So, all good things. And again, it's all thanks to you, our faithful listeners, and all of our new followers. So thanks to our faithful listeners, and welcome to all of our new followers. And I hope you enjoy the show, and as long as you keep listening, I'll keep making it, and then hopefully by having this show, it will inspire others to do something on their own, whether it's podcasts or blogs, whatever the case may be, just something that sparks the conversation in the country to inspire people to come together and discuss ways to eliminate this false left-right paradigm, and to push forward to a new future where we have a third party that's elected to just, if nothing else, try something new. So that being said, I just wanted to. The show is going to kind of be a free-for-all. There's a few ideas of things that I wanted to do and show and share with you guys that I thought was really cool and interesting. One of them being like news articles, for example. I came across one on Treasury Report via the New York Times. Article here is more federal agencies are using undercover operations. I thought that was interesting and kind of something that we all already know about for the most part. I mean, those of us in the know, in air quotes, for lack of a better term, that these groups are always infiltrating movements. And it was just interesting to me, the article itself, how it so I didn't want to share this article because I thought that you as a listener needed to be educated about something. It wasn't to share anything new with you, because I know that everybody already pretty much knows this, as far as government groups infiltrating movements and protests, or whatever the case may be. I thought it was interesting how the article presented it as pretty much a matter of course, when you and I both know that it's a little bit more sinister than that. A lot of time, these government groups that are infiltrating these protesting groups or whatnot, whatever other group it is, they're infiltrating to try and implicate wrongdoing on the part of the protesters, or whatever the case may be. So anyway, the article, again, the headline is "More Federal Agencies Are Using Undercover Operations." Washington, the federal government has significantly expanded undercover operations in recent years, with officers from at least 40 agencies posing as business people, welfare recipients, political protesters, and even doctors or ministers to ferret out wrongdoing, records and interviews show. At the Supreme Court, small teams of undercover officers dress as students at large demonstrations outside the courthouse and join the protests to look for suspicious activity, according to officials familiar with the practice. That first part of that paragraph there, when I first read it, the first thing that came to my mind was like 21 Jump Street. Either the show or the movie, pick your pick. But that's what I imagined was, Jonah Hill and what's his name, Channing Tatum or whatever his name is, standing out front of the courthouse, pretending to be protesters. So I don't know if maybe you got the same visualization as me, but I just thought that was funny. At the Internal Revenue Service, dozens of undercover agents chase suspected tax evaders worldwide by posing as tax preparers, accountants, drug dealers, or yacht buyers, and more, court records show. At the Agriculture Department, more than 100 undercover agents pose as food stamp recipients at thousands of neighborhood stores to spot suspicious vendors, and fraud officials said. Undercover work, inherently invasive and sometimes dangerous, was once largely the domain of the FBI and a few other law enforcement agencies at the federal level, but outside public view, changes in policies and tactics over the last decade have resulted in undercover teams run by agencies in virtually every corner of the federal government, according to officials, former agents, and documents. Some agency officials say such operations give them a powerful new tool to gather evidence in ways that standard law enforcement methods do not offer, leading to more prosecutions. But the broadened scope of undercover work, which can target specific individuals or categories of possible suspects, also raises concerns about civil liberties, abuse, and entrapment of unwitting targets. It has also resulted in hidden problems with money gone missing, investigations compromised, and agents sometimes left largely on their own for months. Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is you're not going to not see corruption on some level when these people are being left alone to their own devices. I mean, that's just kind of a given, but even deeper than that is that's exactly the point. That's all that stuff is intentional anyway, and they do that on purpose. The reason why the incidents of entrapment and more prosecutions and happening and things like that, because they've started these programs, it's not because they're successful in catching a bunch of bad people. It's because they're instigating the problems in the first place. There are countless instances of that you can find online. You can catch videos of and all that stuff. So, I mean, that's kind of well known for the most part. So that's why that's scary. So I thought that was a cool article, and you can read the rest of the article yourself again if you go to Drudge Report or just visit the New York Times. That article is up there. And then I saw the headlines of some other interesting articles over at Infowars.com, of course. First one at the top, which I thought was really interesting and funny, that it was one of the first stories. Reason being is because I've always been kind of a fan of Infowars. It's not something that I listen to all the time, though I did once in the past. I listened to it a lot. I've kind of started steering away a little bit, but it has, for the most part, pretty good stories, and for the most part, again, really well vetted stories, and then some that are just, you kind of question. But I just thought it was interesting that they had this as one of their top stories, because oftentimes Alex would be the first one to kind of complain about what's really news, or whether something's sensational or not, or whether something's intentionally sensational or whatever. So anyway, the headline is Cosby rape allegations, Hollywood losing ability to cover up sex crimes. So there's a story about Bill Cosby and the recent exposure of his alleged dalliances, but for the most part, it's almost kind of a who cares type situation, because there are obviously much bigger and worse things happening in the world right now that are far more important. So it's just kind of funny to me that Infowars of all places would have that as one of their, which, I mean, probably, I'm sure the main point of the headline was the Hollywood losing ability to cover up sex crimes portion. That can be the case as well. But either way, I just find it interesting that it wouldn't be something more along the lines of, like this headline that takes place here at home: Florida school children terrorized by cops for their safety. Let's see, and then there's another article: ISIS 7 times bigger than West believes. That could have been a good leading article. Bush, Clinton, my brother from another mother. That's pretty funny. Fear of Ferguson riots fuel 300% increase in gun sales. Gun control documentary. There are limits to every right articled in the Constitution. These are all headlines. Always watching. Undercover feds surge in numbers. Infiltrate protest report. Police officers draw guns during unannounced active shooter drill at elementary school. Wow. So that's probably related to the other Florida school children terrorized by cops for their safety article. Students, teachers, and parents taken by surprise after an active shooter drill brought the Winter Haven Middle School into lockdown. Huh. So you can check out those articles over at Infowars.com. A lot of pretty interesting stuff obviously happening out in the world. So I came across Thomas E. Woods. He was actually on a great episode of the Brian Callen Show, another awesome podcast. Brian Callen's a comedian and a thinker, and he has a really cool podcast. So I definitely recommend checking that out whenever you get a chance. So he had Tom Woods on, and Tom Woods is kind of a libertarian scholar, and he also worked on the Ron Paul campaign. If you get a chance to check it out, once again, I think it's really cool and worth a listen. So I came across a show that I had listened to through on his. Does the government deserve the benefit of the doubt? Something like that. So I listened to that podcast, and it was really enlightening, and I learned a lot about libertarianism that I didn't really know before, and kind of mostly just ways to think about it and how it works and how it really operates and what it truly is. And listening to that podcast, it really just kind of opened my eyes and solidified my commitment and dedication to libertarianism and the fight against the New World Order and the false left-right paradigm, and just continuing the fight to try to educate people as much as possible in regards to how the system and the government and the world really works, and just kind of gathering hearts and minds in an effort to not only stand up for something but know what we're standing up for and what we believe in, and just kind of trying to turn things around. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll go ahead and play that show, if you guys don't mind, from the Tom Woods Show podcast. I probably won't play the whole thing because it's, I think, about a half hour long. If you don't feel like listening to it, obviously you don't have to, and you can just stop here and maybe check back in a half hour, or you can just listen straight through. But I just thought it was really interesting. Because the thing is, I wanted to play it for you guys because I have the views that I have sometimes, and I know this is kind of not something that you really want to say as a podcaster, but just to be really 100% honest with you, there are certain thoughts that I have in regards to my beliefs and the things that I want to express to you and educate you about, whatever the case may be, that maybe I just don't feel as I'm as well suited enough for that job, and I don't feel like I would come through as articulate as I would like to. I mean, because the thing about the show is that it's not scripted, obviously. So everything that I do here, it's completely extemporaneous. I don't rehearse anything. I don't pre-think about really what I want to talk about. So I just kind of share with you whatever pops into my head. So so sometimes the ideas that I want to get across don't come through as well. And when I was listening to Tom Woods, even though I was learning something, I was also at the same time thinking, wow, this guy, we think along the same lines, but sometimes I'm unable to express that thought process as articulate as I would like. And so when I heard him kind of speaking my mind, if you will, I thought, man, this would be a great thing to kind of present to my listeners, so that I can give them an insight into my mind. And I don't know if you care or not, or are even interested in getting an insight into my mind. If not, I don't know why you really listen to the show, but great, I'm glad that you do. But I figured if you are listening, more than likely there's a chance that you might be curious. So when I listened to the Tom Woods Show, this particular episode, especially, I thought, okay, this is a great opportunity